Well, California Governor Gavin Newsom directing even more criticism towards his own party, telling The Hill that he doesn't know, quote, what the party is, an issue he says he's struggling with. Meanwhile, in another interview, Newsom says the party, quote, needs to rebuild itself from the bottom up, not the top down, and that the Democrats are, quote, dumb as we want to be.
The latest remarks come as the governor's facing backlash from fellow Democrats over his new podcast where he sat down with conservative voices like Charlie Kirk, Steve Bannon.
But Newsom, his term is limited, his last day in office coming in January 2027, and the Republican field to replace him, well, it's growing.
Our next guest says that 15 years of one-party rule has destroyed California and that positive, practical policies that actually help people will make California golden again.
Oh, I like that. Steve Hilton is a former TV personality and now Republican candidate for California governor, and he joins us now. Steve, great to have you with us. A big undertaking here, and I love the making California golden again. How do you plan to do it?
Well, we're the Golden State. And everyone knows what that means instinctively. When people used to think about the American dream, in many ways they thought of the California dream. This beautiful place with our wonderful weather and magnificent landscapes. You could get a nice home in a safe neighborhood and raise your family with a yard. All that's gone. It's been destroyed. We now have the highest rate of poverty in the country. For most of last year, we had the highest unemployment. We have the highest taxes, the highest housing cost, the lowest home ownership, the worst business climate. On pretty much everything that matters, California now is the worst ranked state in America, all as a result of Democrat policies, this 15 years of one-party rule. So when Gavin Newsom says, I don't know what the Democratic Party is, here in California, we know what it is. It's a total disaster. We need change. We need to go in a new direction. That's what I mean by making the state golden again. We can get great jobs, great homes, great kids.
Okay. I think we lost Steve, unfortunately.
He was on a roll.
He was.
Yeah.
He was killing it there. Technical difficulties, live television. But it sounds like what he's going to do, messaging. You know, and a lot of people say that, okay, Steve is back. Steve, we were going to ramble on until we figured out what we did next.
Steve, you're back. We're golden again.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I think we're in a place where, here we are. We're right. I'll tell you where we are today, in Sacramento, the state capital. And so even here, it's a disaster. They can't even make the Wi-Fi work in their own state capital. You've got homelessness all over the streets here, just a block from the state capital. The whole thing is a disaster in California. And what I was saying was that, you know, when Gavin Newsom says he doesn't recognize the Democratic Party or know what it is, we know what it is in California. It's a disaster on every single front. We're the worst ranked state on pretty much every measure that matters. That's why we need change after these terrible 15 years of one-party rule.
Steve, it sounds like you're going to talk about the issues and explain them to Californians here. You have a major uptaking, but a lot of people said President Trump would never win an election. He campaigned on the issues, and
yes,
that has worked brilliantly for him throughout his career. Seems like that's going to be your plan now.
100%. It's not ideological. That's the thing that's about President Trump that was so different from previous Republican candidates. It wasn't about ideology, or it was just about how do we fix the problems, build the wall, cut taxes, simple things, bring back jobs and manufacturing. In the same way here in California, we need common sense solutions to all these problems. So, for example, the cost of living is so high. It's impossible for families to make ends meet. Really, now we have about a third of California families, according to a recent survey, can't afford basic necessities. So the simplest way you can do that is to take working families, working people out of state income tax altogether. That's the first step in my plan. If you earn less than $100,000, no state income tax. Secondly, we need to reduce regulations. There's insane levels of bureaucracy for anyone trying to run a business. I used to run businesses myself. I know what it's like. It's a nightmare now in California. So we're going to sunset our regulatory code so that we only keep the regulations that we really need. We're going to make it easier to build homes by getting rid of regulations. And in a way, most important for the future, we've got to improve the public schools. They're a disaster. These government-run, union-run schools, utter disaster. Under half of students in California's schools meet basic standards in English. For math, it's 33%.
Yes,
those numbers should be 100%.